Hi, I'm Adam and I'm recording this video on chesswithcanaric.com. Today we're going to be talking about Legal's Mace. Legal's Mace is a trap arising out of the King's Pawn opening, and it's called Legal's Mace because it's named after a French chess player named Sieur Legal, who played this trap many times in the 1700s. This is an interesting idea to know because we see a lot of ideas to do with pins and breaking pins. So this arises, so white is attempting to play the Italian game, and black is playing the Philidor. The Philidor is a reasonably common opening at most levels. Usually white prefers to play moves like d4 and castle. But okay, in Legal's Mate, we got knight c3. Black plays bishop g4. And after h3, bishop h5. Here, this position is actually totally winning for white. So okay, I invite you to pause the video and try to come up with the winning idea for white in this position. So first of all, it's important to note that white's advantage is pretty clear even without the winning tactic. For example, white has developed 3 pieces and black has only developed 2, and white's pieces are well positioned to potentially start an attack against black's king. So here white already has an advantage. However, Legal's trap in this position goes knight captures e5. And okay, black has a number of responses in this position, so let's look at them one by one. So first of all, the most obvious response and the most famous response relates to this trap is bishop takes queen on d1. However, this move fails very routinely, as after bishop takes queen, white can simply play bishop takes f7, check, and black's king only has 1 square, can only go to e7, as our knight defends the bishop and covers the d7 square. And after king e7, white has a checkmate in 1 move. So okay, bishop takes queen won't do it. So let's have a look at some other potential defensive moves for black. The second most obvious move is knight takes knight, where you take the piece back and attack the other piece at the same time. So if we count the material at the moment, white has an extra pawn and black has an extra piece. But okay, we're attacking the bishop, so we take the bishop with the queen. And after knight takes c4, here can you find the move for white to regain the piece? Because again, if we count material, black has 3 pieces and white only has 2, but white's up a pawn. So if we can win the piece back, we will just be up a pawn with a very healthy position. So the move here is queen to b5 check, attacking the king and the knight at the same time. So after black blocks the check, white takes the knight. And if we take stock of this position, white has an extra pawn and it's a very strong central pawn. And over the next few moves, white can go castles, d3 to get the bishop out, bishop e3. The d5 square is very strong for the knight. And this position should be totally winning for white. So okay, let's go back. The other option, which is probably the least testing for white, is if black just captures black with the pawn. Because now we can just take the bishop. And because our bishop and queen attack the f7 pawn, black can play natural developing moves like knight f6. Black first has to stop the threat, so let's say black plays queen d7, defending the pawn. Now white will have a very healthy position after something like castles, knight to f6, and queen back to d1. And white's just up a full pawn for no compensation. So before we finish, there's one thing that's important to note, which is when white played h3 in the opening, because at first glance, it looks like we can just do the knight e5 idea now. Because after knight takes e5 and bishop takes d1, we would get the exact same checkmate with bishop takes f7, king e7, and knight d5 mate. However, there's one key difference between the position with h3 includes and without h3 includes. And that's after knight e5, knight takes e5. Now, because black declined to take the queen, now black is just up a piece, and their knight defends the g4 square, where if the bishop was on h5, it wouldn't be defended. So after bishop e2, bishop takes e2, and queen takes e2, black would just be up a piece for a pawn, and black would be much better. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.